Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in. I certainly hope that peace and blessing was upon you and your family this day. Now, we are going to get right back into the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. We are in chapter 2. This is going to be the last take. We about to finish up chapter 2, which is entitled Identity. I believe it's identity. I'm going to go back. Yeah, it's identity. We about to finish this up with this take, which is take 12. And it goes like this. 2. The meal. They must eat some kind of slop or a dish simulated to represent foods that slaves was forced to eat to survive. 3. Walking through fire. This is supposed to be reminiscent of his walking over a hot desert to civilization someplace in Africa. Actually, fire is used and the enlistees must prove their sincerity by walking through the fire, sometimes barefoot. 4. Being lost. Sometimes new recruits are left in a strange place or unfamiliar part of town and must find their way back home with no map or directional tools. 5. Passing food from mouth to mouth. This symbology is related to the slave's need to share some of the same food, often off the same plate. It may be typified by two black men eating off the same bone to emulate the act of sharing everything with a brother. Each initiation is designed to promote each member towards self-reliance. Many African Egyptian references are used in these pledging ceremonies, such as the Sphinx, the crescent, or the pyramids, with character goals like service, high moral character, sharing, building, scholarship, and respect. They are honorable cliché to belong to. Their kinship is recognized nationwide, and they try to keep in contact at their annual conference or periodic local meetings. Fraternities have produced many confident lawyers, doctors, businessmen, politicians, and leaders. They have a clearly defined identity earned by accomplishing goals that serve as rites of passage for transformation into responsible adults. It is unfortunate that such noble intentions are tainted by them trying to emulate the suffering of their slavery-bound ancestors, instead of their free and powerful forefathers who never arrived on American shores. What they have done is adopted a confusing blend of European, African, and African American historical events and used their conclusions to create rights based on all three stories. Perhaps one day they will explain their reasoning for this. Perhaps one day they will explain their reasoning for this. Yeah, I repeated that twice. How about one more time? Perhaps one day they will explain their reasoning for this. Their rituals contain certain leaps in logic that undermine any real significance they might gain from slavery or pre-slavery existence of black men of old. Black men fraternity brothers retain the slave masters' names and are known to be good Americans. Chapter 3. Appearance. While it is both obvious and accurate to acknowledge that the black man is a fine physical specimen of the masculine gender, it is a good idea to study other categories of his appearance, such as his wardrobe, his jewelry, his hairstyles, and his external expression of himself. These factors help determine how he feels about himself, are examples of how he views himself, and contain innuendos regarding what messages he is trying to convey to onlookers. While it can be proven that he has faltered on many of his responsibilities adjacent to his home and related areas, and while it is visibly apparent that he has compromised on his needs and been systematically thwarted by others, there is one part of him that he remains in charge of. That part is his appearance. He has throughout history attempted to dress as together and finely as possible. To start with, the marketeers and advertising firms have tricked him into being incredibly misled on the value of fashion. If he can afford to, and if it is at all possible, he will wear the best of available garments. This includes underwear, socks, shirts, leisure tops, slacks, suits, recreational wear, hats, overcoats, sport jackets, ties, scarves, and of course, his shoes. Starting with shoes, which also took on an extravagant importance. He sanctioned the idea that one of the ways a replete man was recognized was by what he wore on his feet. Many of them wear the very best shoes that white shoemakers can design. They may range in price from $75 to $500, depending on the designer name attached to them, the type of leather used, and the level of comfort. Some have all different colors from yellow to green, some with laces or slip-ons. Shoes used to be a very necessary component of the black man's wardrobe. They were something he took pride in and a necessity. As he has become more leisure-oriented, he has relaxed his shoe requirements. When the shoe industry noted this kind of trend, they quickly responded and provided footwear to reflect the mood of a less uptight male. The growing popularity of black men as basketball greats or other public sport figures, from whom many black men and black boys derive special pleasure from watching and see as heroic, gave the shoe industry an inroad to gaining their attention. So what started out as being called gym shoes are now almost strictly referred to as sneakers, running, or tennis shoes. Thus arrived the acceptance of regular day-to-day wearing of gym shoes. In a societal climate where relaxation has become the major goal, sneakers appear to be natural foot covering for this transformation. The industry responded by supplying them in all colors, weights, and ankle lengths. and attached hefty price tags ranging from $50 to $300, settling on the average of, say, $75 per pair. The manufacturers assign certain catchy brand name titles to them, develop contemporary fast track commercials to advertise them, then dropped a blockbuster whammy of an idea and started labeling the sneakers after the names of basketball stars, whom black males admire. That's all there was to it. This kind of marketing launched the now multi-million-dollar industry of sneaker sales. Practically every black man and black boy owns a pair or several pair. The younger black males, competitive in spirit, make it a fashion no-no to wear non-brand name sneakers or to continue to wear them after they become old, worn, or soiled. This makes it psychologically necessary not only to wear expensive designer sneakers, but to purchase them frequently so that they always look new. Preferably, one would have several pairs to match different outfits. Analyzing the sneaker craze on another level, the original design and purpose of sneakers was for exercise, playing sport games, and to ease standing or walking long distances. When the black man took to wearing sneakers all day, every day, all week, throughout all seasons, it placed him in a position to always be ready to play or exhibit informal, overly playful behavior. Keeping a black man in sneakers ensures that on a moment's notice, he'll be willing to play around or jump or run immaturely. They are a sure sign of recreation. A man who wears hard-bottom shoes is less amped to break into a prance or dance a jig. Hard-bottom shoes require the black man to walk differently, stand differently, and they bring more seriousness to his motion and decorum. This is why professional businessmen are required to wear standard hard-bottom shoes. They are a must requirement in all general business, social, or religious affairs among civilized, well-bred adults. The black man needs to take off the sneakers and go back to wearing hard-bottom shoes. He also needs to give up wearing shorts and running suits in public and go back to donning slacks or regular pants, preferably with a belt. The same goes for the now fashionable slogan t-shirts. Adult black men should set an example of serious, manly attire. Sneakers have single-handedly reduced almost the entire black male population to behaving like youngsters. If worn, they should be used exclusively for recreational activities and then taken off. Wearing hard-bottom shoes is another way to separate the men from the boys. Currently, practically all of them look like boys. Yet if anyone refers to him as a boy, he claims it is the worst insult imaginable. If he establishes a boy's identity for himself, then he should not mind being recognized as one. Now, that certainly does complete take number 12, well into chapter 3. Be blessed. Stay tuned. I will have more for you from this book. But until then, I would like for you and your family to be blessed. Talk with you later. Okay? So later, y'all. From me to you. Poem praise too. Peace be upon you. All right now.